It's spiritual teacher, professional medium, and owner of a village, a personal and spiritual development center located in Ohio. So thanks for joining me tonight. And yeah, I can't wait to sit and chat with you tonight. So our topic tonight is about intuition, that hotline that we all were born with that connects us to information, insight, guidance on the other side. And I want to let you know that because of the energies that are going on right now and all the chaos and shifting and all of it, it's harder to hear. So I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks tonight to help you connect in a better way. So I always wait for a second for everyone to get on with me and join us live, because I'm going live on Facebook. And even though I upload these to YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, you know, it's a live video podcast and it's interactive with whoever joins me tonight. So grab your cuppa and your notebook and let's have a chat. So that's my teaching for this evening. It's about intuition and learning how do we tap into it and trust it, right? So anyway, I got my cuppa. This is okay, just because it's a red Solo cup doesn't mean it's got, you know, hooch in it. It's my soda. We have soda tonight. So anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast regarding fear. And that's one of those limiting things that gets in the way of our intuition. And so if you get a chance to go to my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page, you can go back and look for that video. So tonight, what I want to talk about is what is intuition? You know, there's a lot of names and labels for it. What is it, and how do we connect with it better? And so, thanks for joining me, Joan. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. So when we start out this journey on the other side, as souls on the other side, and we go, okay, I'm going in, I'm getting a new meat suit, I'm coming into this new experience that I'm choosing to have. There's this thing that connects us. So we are a physical body, an emotional body, and a spiritual body, okay? And even though we're coming into this human existence, there's this tether, this communication line that comes with us, okay, that keeps us connected to our helpers, guides, and everything on the other side. The challenge that we face is that the systems and the cultures and the things that we were born to did not continue to help us stay connected in a greater way. And so what happens is it kind of diminishes or gets really quiet because we get indoctrinated in this human reality, and then this becomes the real thing, and we don't sit in that place. So some of the other teachings that I've done on video on Wednesday nights, we talk about self-care and learning how to be still, sitting with it, you know, being still. And that's a big challenge. So, okay, so as we're all starting to pop on here, and I'm so grateful for all of you. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Sue. It's good to see you. So what I want us all to do, okay, is we want to take a grounding breath. So this is one of those tricks, okay? So when you're feeling a little scattered or over anxious or overwhelmed, the first thing you want to do is sit down. Okay, sit down. And then you want to take and breathe in a cleansing breath. Okay, so we're breathing in peace and love and all the beautiful things. And then on the exhale, we're blowing out fear and doubt and all the toxic stuff. Okay? And so let's do it one time together. Ready? So we're breathing in and we're blowing out. That actually slows down your heart rate, and it's grounding, okay? So it makes you feel more peaceful, all right? So if you can do it once, then we practice doing it twice, and we focus on the breath every time. So you focus on like little hearts floating in your nose and filling up your lungs with all these wonderful things. And then on the exhale, we're blowing out fear and doubt and all the carbon dioxide. So That's a grounding breath. So anytime you're feeling yourself getting a little, like that, you can do this grounding breath anywhere. You can do it in your car, at your desk, anywhere. I do it. You can even do it in the grocery line when you catch yourself getting a little overwhelmed. So yes, so that's a grounding breath, and that just centers us. Okay. So when we're talking about intuition, people have a lot of different labels for it. It's funny because some people call it, I had a feeling, okay? And I want to kind of break it out a little bit because there's different ways that it works, and there's different labels for it, okay? Now, some people have a different mission than you do, okay? My mission is different than your mission. And so I come with a different connector. Okay, so my connector is like, a coaxial cable, where yours might be like a straw, but that is still that connector that connects us to the other side. So some people are more what we would call heightened, or more people are more in tune. Okay, there's a lot of words for that. It doesn't make one better than the other. It's just that the experiences I was going to have in my life was important because it was going to help me navigate some pretty interesting and kind of dysfunctional things. And so I learned to trust my inner knowing, or that it existed before, when I was a kid. Okay. People ask me all the time, how long have you known that you were like this? And it's like my whole life. Okay. I've always been that one going the other way. I've always been different, not a fitter inner. Okay, I couldn't fit in if I wanted to. I still can't. I just stand out. So if you have classes or coaching with me, we talk about these things in way bigger detail. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little snippets of stuff tonight, but just to get you an understanding of it. So there's other fun words like empathy, which is the ability to read energy. Okay, we all have that. And we're all clairvoyant, which means sometimes we get a heads up. And this is where that inner knowing says, just gives you a feeling, or a heads up that something's going to happen. Okay. And when it's blocked with fear or our own insecurities, the other chatter outside you is louder, so you can't really hear it. Okay. So this is why we want to learn how to be still. And we want to learn how to disconnect from energies. You could do that just standing still doing that. I can ground myself just standing still, okay, in a public place. But taking that time to just center and detach from the energies around me. Now, I teach a class called Energy, Empathy, and Self-Care, okay? And now I do that as in corporate as well. So all of these things are also speaking engagements, and they're also workshops, okay, that we really dig in. And so especially for people who work in those service industries. So anyway, so there's three different things. So there's clairvoyance, which is knowing things ahead and just knowing things, okay? And then there's empathy, okay, which is the ability to read or feel energy, okay? Now, like I said, people come here in varying degrees of this because of the life they're going to have, and because we haven't had training on it. Nobody taught us. They teach us to walk, they teach us to read, they teach us to do these things, but they don't teach us to trust and develop our own inner knowing. So whether you call it a gut feeling, whether you call it intuition, whatever label you want to put on it, this is that divine connection that keeps us connected to the other side, because once we're in this human reality, we're here to create experiences. And think of the guides kind of like a stage crew out backstage that are kind of putting on the props, and they're trying to guide you to the next spot to stand, and but they're not allowed to interfere in our free will. But when it's important, they will give you some kind of a heads up or a message. So it also manifests not only as this like inner knowing or gut feeling, and it's not something you hear, it's just something okay? And so for me, I'm a visual person, okay? I can visualize, and some people can't. Okay, some people can't, and that's cool too. So, it depends on who you are, how it manifests. Okay, so for me, okay, because like I said, I came here fluid, I came here on a mission, and eventually this work is going to be part of it. So I needed to have that coaxial cable, earlier. Okay. But that can also be overwhelming, and that's what I want to finish up with tonight is understanding it. But it's not allowed to make you crazy. It's not allowed to interfere. It's not something that you're supposed to use for other people necessarily. It's for you to stay connected to that divinity stage crew, whether you want to. It's all your ancestors, guides, relatives, the source. It's all this collective energy over there that are helping us navigate through this human life. Okay. So again, it's a personal thing. It's for you. And so, oh my God. So for me, one of the ways that this, intuitive thing happens, okay, is things will pop in my head. A song, a visual thing, my ancestors and relatives, and that's just, it's not just a knowing. It's also, sometimes I get a quick flash or a vision of some sort. And it's so funny because, for instance, I had a song pop in my head. Okay. So I'm singing the song that popped in my head, and my son walks in to the room singing the same song. Okay. And he's like, Mom, get out of my head. I go, I'm not in your head. You just think loud. So this is a form of telepathy as well. So I can read energies, and sometimes, I say things out loud that people are thinking, so for me, it's like super heightened, and I've got a handle on that. Okay. But so quite often something will pop in my head, like a friend will pop in my head and then call me later in the day. Okay. That is telepathy. Okay, that is that inner knowing, and it also works with humans. Okay, so it's one of the things that, again, there's lots of degrees of this for lots of reasons, and this is what we unpack in the class and we talk about. So there's certain connections that we have with certain people, so whether it's friends or family, our children. Okay, so again, this body, my female body, comes with a little extra because I may give birth to people who can't speak for themselves. And so as a mother, you have to intuit, quite often when people can't speak for themselves, kind of just know what they need, so that's just knowing. I just know, I have a feeling, or this knowing. And so when people pop in my head, it's really kind of fun because of my degree of this, okay, I can tell if it's urgent, if it's not urgent, if it's just, oh, by the way, so they're thinking of me and I'm hearing that. Okay. So that conduit connects me to the other side, but it also connects me to other people. And so just for fun, if somebody pops in my head more than once in the day, I'll call them and they go, I was just thinking about you. I'm like, right. That's how this works. And so when we learn to be still, or when we're in some kind of a meditative state, like doing dishes or cleaning or something where you don't have to think while you're doing it, taking a shower, quite often that inner knowing will see you in that stillness place, and it will give you some input. Okay. Something will pop in your head, or you'll feel, oh, I got to go do that. It reminds you of things. Or it says, oh, you get a feeling something's happening or someone's coming or whatever. But that is a thing. Okay. Now the challenge is a lot of the systems that we're born to teach us to not listen to our little voice. Listen to me. Don't listen to that. Okay. So I was born to some very interesting systems that were not necessarily forthcoming or honest. Okay. And so I got a lot of mixed messages because my inner knowing told me one thing and they were telling me something different. And so I didn't, and they weren't truthful. And so I didn't necessarily trust them, okay? But that inner knowing was never wrong, okay? Now, when it comes to like fear, and so think about what we're talking about tonight, and then notice that when we're in a place of fear, whether it's, there's three different kinds of fear. There's instinctual fear. Then there's it's illusionary fear, okay? Like it's like a bear is coming for you, but there's no bear, okay? So we tend to give it a lot of energy, and it's very paralyzing, okay? Then there's propagated fear, which is people that make you feel like you should be afraid, okay? And there's a lot of that, okay? I have to tell you, it's fascinating because I always leave like the TV on regular TV or just something, and the commercials that come on are all fear-based, you know. You have to hurry to get this deal. You have to call now, you know, and it's fascinating how much we have been conditioned to just react to these perceived, you know, alarms, you know. Anyway, so when we have this inner knowing, it really helps us be able to just navigate better, because I might be heading one way, and my little voice says, I call it my little voice. You don't hear it. It's just this inner knowing. I call it my little voice, though. But it'll say, you know, go left here. And I'm like, and again, I'm contrary Mary. And so I know now, okay, there's a reason why they're telling me go left. So I go, you know, they're suggesting that I go left. I don't have to. But it's always funny because I take this little detour, and there's a reason. You know, I see something I need to see, or I meet somebody I need, you know, I run into somebody. I mean, not literally, you know, but so when we have that inner knowing and we just start trusting it, it starts really just giving you the sense of peace. You know, there's a peaceful feeling that comes with this. Connecting with it, when you can sit and be still, there's this feeling of peace that we're creating around us that pushes away all the energies around you, okay? And so that's why we want to practice stillness, because that's when we get our best stuff. But even when I'm driving, I'll get a heads up. Or something will pop in my head and my phone will ring, you know? Or I'll get a heads up that, you know, it's not for me to react to, okay? But it's just saying, oh, by the way, it's like a 411, okay? Oh, by the way, this thing might be coming, okay? So I'm forewarned, okay? It's not for me to act on or me to, you know, freak out about. Again, this is where the fear thing can exist. And so then, I'm not surprised when those coincidental things happen, because I already kind of got a heads up about it, okay? I mean, although it is amazing, I can't lie, you know. And so when when I get that inner inkling, you know, that I should just do something now, or go do that, or wait for it, you know, it always goes smoother, because the universe, our helpers, all see our journey and where we need to be. And sometimes we're running around, you know, not present. And so they warn you to, you know, pay attention, you know. And so it's your companion. It's like your GPS, okay? So think of it like having GPS. And we have this connection all the time. But it's not going to interrupt or interfere in our free will or your day. They're not allowed to make us, you know, dependent on it, okay? So I know it's there, but I know what to do. I trust myself, okay? And I trust all the things I know about you know, my spirituality, my life. My life is basically pretty simple, because I'm dealing with a lot of other chaoses. So I can't have that kind of chaos in my life, okay? And we all get, okay, guys, we all, you know, we can't avoid all of it. But you know, my house, my life, my space is relatively peaceful, okay? And it's not in that way. It's separate, and it's grounding for me before I go outside into the world. So I have to let you know, there's a lot of reasons for feeling some kind of way right now, okay? Because we are going into the new moon on Tuesday, okay? So I'm having our Moon Lodge, which is our new moon gathering this Sunday at 2 o'clock. If any of you want to join the A Village Moon Lodge page, I would be more than happy to add you to it, but you have to be my friend on Facebook to join. So we're meeting at 2 o'clock on Sunday. So as we're slowing down and going into this new moon place, this is a place where the moon's dark and it reveals truths. Okay, so if you guys look at what's going on around you in your world, truth is coming up like popcorn, okay? Everything's popping and moving, okay? And that's not a bad thing. So the new moon reveals truth, and it affects our emotions. So you might find yourself feeling super emotional, okay? Or feeling anxious, or feeling depressed, okay? And again, when we work on other aspects, you're not going to let that take you out, okay? So that's having an influence on us right now. And we also still have some retrogrades happening. So if you go to astrologyking.com and look up Jamie Partridge's, he's got a whole page just for retrogrades. And you can take a look at what's actually retrograde right now. I think we've got 3 or 4 planets retrograde still. And so again, retrogrades bring up the things that planet governs. And so there's a lot going on right now, guys, because truth is freeing. Truth shows us where the problems are, where the healing has to happen, what we can, how we can change it. And so truth is very important, but there's a lot of truth being presented right now, and it's really activating a lot of people, okay? Now, like I said in previous videos, I'm not shocked. It doesn't mean I'm not, I'm not shocked by the things that are happening in the world, because most of these things have been going on my whole life, okay? But right now, nothing can stay hidden, okay? So when truths are revealed, it takes the illusion away, and it exposes things that are not truthful. So this is not again, it's showing us the truth so that we can do something about it, so that we can change things, okay? And again, the fact that this has done so much harm to so many people is just horrifying. And again, it's giving us a lot of awarenesses. I can tell you, again, a lot of the things, I talk about this with other people a lot. And, there's a lot of people who are waking up and realizing the systems that they've been giving energy to their whole life were a lie, or it kept them from really good things. And that's a difficult awareness, guys, to, realize that your whole life was based on these systems that were just using you, basically, and keeping you from being self-aware and connected to not only our inner guidance, but to one another. It's created these divisions with hate, and because again, it's what it is, okay? So that's where we're at. And so if you're feeling some kind of way, okay, and plus we're in midwinter, and this is where we're starting to get kind of antsy and sick of being in the house. And I have to tell you, after the last month in Ohio, the weather was awful. So Mother Nature gives us a little reprieve. We had a 50-degree day yesterday. I think today was up there too. But again, that's not normal this time of year, but it gives us hope. The spring is coming. And so that's kind of where we are tonight, guys. So our intuition is very important. It gives you a heads up. And, so it's an interesting thing. I told the story in one of the other videos, but I'm going to share it again. So there was one night. Now my son, okay, was raised in this environment. So he was never conditioned away from that divine connection, okay? Now kids are so connected until they're like 7, and that's when they start getting really human, okay? We start getting really indoctrinated into this human reality, which isn't as real as we like to think it is. And so he never really lost that connection, okay, but he learned to trust it, and he knew that he has guides and ancestors and relatives on the other side. Imagine coming here and just somebody giving you permission to trust your knowing, okay? How beautiful is that? So one night, he was on the motorcycle with his dad, and they were coming home, and they were coming down Route 2, where the split between 2 and Dead Man's Curve is, for those of you who are local. Okay, well, all of a sudden Jared got this really bad feeling, okay? And simultaneously, there were those arrows that flash that go around the bend, okay? And there are like three of them. They're going bam, bam, bam. And usually they blink, blink, blink. Okay, for him, he noticed them like being really like intense, like bam, bam, bam. And he got this really bad feeling when he saw and felt that happening. And so he leaned forward and said to his dad, "Dad, don't take 90, take 2. Now I have to tell you, his father is very intuitive, okay? Oh, it's all how you use it, guys. But anyway, so when my son told him, don't take 90, take 2, he trusted that, okay? And so he went 2. Come to find out, okay, there was an accident around Dead Man's Curve, and it was like a 5-car pileup, and people died, okay? And so that's the power of our inner guidance. It shows up right when you need it. I can tell you stories about where I'm in a situation or even when I'd be out with my son, we'd be in bars and all these places. And that inner knowing protects you. Okay. So my inner knowing would say, get to the car quickly. Okay. And I'd say, Jared, we got to get in the car. And he knew what that meant. He knew I had some feeling, and he just trusted me and would go hurry up and get in the car. And so again, this is the power of that, is when you start trusting it and you're not operating from a place of fear all the time, it gives you heads up and it gives you warnings, and it's something that you can, trust and rely on. Okay. So I can be peaceful unless I get a feeling that's like that. And then I can instantly shift gears and respond, not react. Okay. And that takes practice. So it's funny that you mentioned that, Sharon. So the word the acronym ESP actually stands for extrasensory perception. Exactly. So whether you call it ESP, my little voice, my inner knowing, I got a feeling, that's all part of extrasensory perception. Okay. I looked this stuff when I was a kid because I did that. I would sing a song out loud that somebody was thinking, and this is why people would think I was a weirdo, okay? Because I would just blurt things out because I didn't have any training or filter, so I would just, and I don't know that this is what this is, okay? But when it started happening a lot, and again, I had to need it because in my world, things would shift gears very quickly and get bad real fast. So I had to have that heads up, so that I knew before I went home or wherever what I was going to deal with when I got in there. So I had this feeling, and I learned to understand its intensity. I looked up a lot of things about ESP because I knew I was doing this, Sharon. So so ESP, there's no training for this, guys. Okay. But I do training. Okay. And trusting that inner knowing and learning to, understand it. But again, it's another one of those self-awareness things. And we have to work normally on all the bodies simultaneously with this, our emotional body and our physical body, to get all these things working together so that works better. But we all have this divine connection. It doesn't matter. It doesn't sound like people. Okay. So there's a very fine line, guys, between the two bodies of mental health, emotional and spiritual. And like I said, this is not allowed to bug you. It doesn't need you. Okay. It's working for you. Okay. And you alone. All right. And it's only going to happen when you need it. Okay. And so it's like putting on your GPS. Okay. When you're on the move or you're doing things, it's always on, but it doesn't need to, it's not a fear-based thing at all. It's just helping you get a little bit of a heads up when needed. Okay. So the other side, again, if we focus on this too much, we're here to be human. Okay. So if we twirl around in here in a fear-based place or, thinking that dead people need to tell you something, okay, that you're here to make choices and learn from them. Okay. They're not allowed to interfere in those choices. you know. So you do the lesser thing happens. You do the greater thing, the greater things happen. And the more you learn that, the better things go. The more you realize, oh, I shouldn't do that. But they can't stop you from yourself. But guys, it's really important for you to know that this is not some, thing that you need to be dependent on. It happens regardless, okay? But again, if the mental health issue with this is that it would manifest as a voice, okay, and not a good one, okay? And so it's not allowed to make us dependent on it, okay? So if you're having those kinds of things happen, we need to help you get grounded in this human reality, okay? We need to get you back in your body and getting you functioning as a human and working on that, okay? And this is why we work in teams. So I work with mental health professionals and I do work with physicians to get you in balance, because there's nothing on the other side that is allowed to hurt you. There is nothing on the other side that is allowed to haunt you. That does not happen. And so quite often I'm really I'm helping people unlearn some of the misinformation that they've received even about the kind of work that I do, okay? Because there's so much propaganda and things online that, again, if we're alone in here too long, it can get delusional very quickly. And those delusions can be very dangerous, okay? So, the other side doesn't need you. You have your own inner guidance. I just as a medium and as a teacher and all these things, I just clear up the static between you and your little voice and empower you with understanding so that you start trusting that yourself. So I'm here to give you those tools of understanding and not make you dependent on people like me for your answers. Okay, I want to teach you to make your own choices better, and we can support each other when we do that. But again, that's very important that you realize that there is a difference between visions and delusions, okay, or this inner knowing and delusional episodes. Okay, so this is why we're not allowed, being alone is not healthy. This is why sitting alone in your head with the shitty committee is not healthy. We are here to thrive, okay? We're here to learn, we're here to experience this life, and we're here to leave it better than we found it. It's basically very simple. So simple it's hard. But right now we're facing some things that need changed in our world. And you, me, and everybody on here and everybody out in the world, came here at this time of the world in order to be on that transition team, pulling us together, coming together in faith, having faith and trust that there's bigger things at work here and just doing the next right thing. It's not hard. But again, we're facing a lot of resistance with that. So we need each other, and we also have to, build relationships with each other in our communities, interdependent ones, not codependent ones. Okay. Right now, that's what we're waking up to. We've been in a codependent relationship with a drug dealer. Okay. And they don't give a shit about you. Okay. They just want you to keep buying their product, and they keep you in need on purpose and suck you dry. And then when you're expendable, you're expendable. They kick you to the curb, okay? So that's what we're all waking up to. These systems have been keeping people doped up, and now they're realizing, who's who. And it's unpleasant, okay? But it's necessary because truth is freeing, and it does take a village. There are a lot of people awakening and good people out here doing some really amazing things. So don't sit in your house afraid. Come out and, join reality. It's not as bad as you think, okay? I mean, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of really more good things going on right now. But there's a lot of light being shed on the dark that's going on in our world. And, again, if, all of our little candles, if we bring them all together, it becomes a beacon, So that's what I do, and this is I'm so grateful for all of you that follow me and listen to my teachings. And so if you want to have sessions or an event or a class, just go to my website, mariannegoldweber.com/events. But if you want to go to services, it'll show you all the different work that I do, as a medium, as a spiritual teacher, as a minister and community development and those things. So I do a lot of advocacy out in the world for those of you that don't know me, And then for those of you that do know me, I'm a handful, that's for sure, right? Yeah, I'm hard to deceive, guys, just so you know. I can call bullshit very quickly. And not only because I'm intuitive, okay, but because I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, okay? I've seen the bad guy. I've met the bad guy, okay, in lots of different ways. And so I trust my knowing. I trust my relationship with my God of my understanding and my divinity. And that's how I do this work, And so I just want to empower you to build a trusting relationship with your faith. Faith is trust without evidence. And truly, that takes practice. Okay, there is a bigger thing at work here, but it's this human stuff that we've got to get the bricks out of the road. Okay, there's destruction before construction, and yeah, it depends on who you ask, Rudy. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm not for everybody, but boy, when we all get together, I'm like the bad kids club. Okay, we're reformed bad kids. I would say so. We're really hard to fool. We don't give energy to bullshit and drama. Okay, it's just funny. Anyway, so yeah, come hang out. We have our Serenity Sunday coming this Sunday. No. Moon Lodge is, we did Serenity Sunday last week, so the next one will be in March. I swear, guys, every day is like a new adventure, okay? So anyway, so that's what we got. So go to my website, schedule some time. If you want to schedule some time, so basically, like I had a client call me yesterday. We had a session yesterday, and she's been my client for like 20 some years, okay? And she goes, I trust my inner knowing. I mean, she's got all the tools. She's done this with me. She's been to events. She's done all the things. But it's kind of nice to get a very clear message from me, only because I clear up the static. There's no, misinterpretation of the message. And then you have an idea of what to do and now you got the tools. And so you go out and you do it. It's so nice when you know who's helping you, which of your ancestors and relatives, because then when you get this inner knowing, you know who it belongs to, and so I have guides I work with. Okay. So when I get that inner knowing, it's not a hearing, right? But I know who's behind it. I know my stage crew. Okay. My family, my relatives, my ancestors, and my guides are helping me navigate, through this life. But I know the rules. I know how it goes. So, it's not like they go, Marianne, go left. They do it because they're sending me on some kind of adventure, okay, in my world, okay? And damned if it doesn't always happen. It's very cool. So, I'll get that heads up. And I can tell if it's something I have to respond to now or if I can wait, okay? And if it's like now, I just do it. Just do it, and you find out that's when the magic happens. So I did a video, I think it was last week, on God moments. And so that's this inner knowing in action. And so it creates these God moments, these synchronicity events. So if you get a chance to go back and look at those, you can also go to YouTube and look at all my previous videos. So let's see who's here. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see everyone. Oh, hey, April. So Joan was the first one in. Thank you for joining us, Joan. Kristen, it's so good to see you. Hi, Sue. April. Okay, guys, now this thing scrolls funny, so. Wanda, Claire. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you, friend. Cynthia sends out the best morning messages, okay? I look forward to her with my cuppa every morning, okay? When I log on to Facebook, after I meditate, there's Cynthia giving us some really just inspirational things. So I just want to thank you for being a bright light fairy bug out there. Hey, Michelle. Hi, Denise. Thank you, Sharon, for being here, too. Hey, Karen. Oh, you're having your left eye surgery tomorrow. Guys, that is the best thing I ever did, is having that cataract surgery. I also had bought those toric lenses because I have a severe astigmatism and my vision was awful. And boy, Karen, I'm not kidding. Wait till you see. You're going to be able to see and read the license plates without glasses. Okay, they give you that little clear eye patch. And oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to call me when it's all done. So they give you a twilight so you don't really go to sleep. Okay. And so you don't wake up all weird and groggy. So let me know. So we'll all hold you in prayer for that. Anyway. Oh, hey Rudy. You're the best. Guys, like I said, it's scrolling funny, so I apologize if I missed you. Hey Antonio and Denise. Oh, there's lots of Denises here. Hey Denise Emerson and Denise Weatherwax. So they're all here, and so good to see you guys. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, and this is what I've been doing, is I've been giving everybody, getting a little message to everyone after the end of our podcast. Which usually confirms everything I talked about. So these are the medicine cards by Jamie Sams. So these are all the indigenous totem animals, and each animal has a strength and weakness. And so there's a personal message these are all about personal development, guys. Okay, this is giving you a message that you can look at every day. And if you go to my website, there's a link for the Sacred Path cards and all the products we use with Jamie Sams. Okay, she's a spiritual indigenous teacher. So anyway, the fun thing about the totem animals is that, it refers to nature. So sometimes once we pull a card, we might even see the animal out in the world. Now, if you don't see the animal, you might get another message or confirmation by thinking you saw something that looked like it out there. Oh, I was driving through the metro parks one day. I pulled alligator in the morning. And that's about sitting with it and digesting things before you respond, okay? I was not doing that at the time. I was going through a lot of things. Anyway, so I'm driving through the metro parks later in the day, and I'll be damned if I did not see a log that looked like an alligator. So in some cultures, that's called a wotai. It's an object that has the spirit of the animal in it. Okay, so that log had that alligator spirit in it, and so it showed itself to me, and so that was a confirmation for the message I got earlier in the day. Oh my God, I dreamt about alligators, guys, for about a year. So once you understand the symbolism, then the universe starts using that when you go to sleep in dream time, or that'll pop in your head. So anyway, so let's see what card we pulled today. I'm having a hard time shuffling. Oh, not looking. Okay, what do we get? Let's see what we got. Oh, if that was alligator, I would have laughed. So it's upside down raven. Okay, so when these cards are upside down, it's the contrary message of the animal. So the animal, whatever the message is, it's kind of a block in the road. Okay. God knows we got some blocks in our road. We got to get out the excavators and get this shit off the road. Raven. I'll give you the summary on that. Oh, that's funny. I opened right to it. See, that's how the universe works, guys. Those aren't coincidences. All right. So raven represents magic. Okay. And just a brief, so it tells you what the animal represents, okay? So in many cultures, raven represents that magic, or that it crosses the boundaries between the void, the other side, the quiet, the other place, and our reality, okay? So it brings messages, and it gives us the courage to enter the darkness. Because that's where everything's created. Okay, that's where I go when I channel. Okay, I go into the void. I go into the nothing place where everything is created. So it's a fun place to be, but you're not allowed to stay there. Okay, I have one foot very firmly rooted in this human reality before I do this work. Okay, so this is why it's dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. And so if you have any questions about that, let me know. So here's the contrary message of raven. Raven reversed is not to be taken lightly. It can mean that a boomerang is coming home. Oh boy. If you have wished harm on another, so this is not necessarily true just take what you need, what resonates with you. If you've wished harm on another, beware. You have asked for harm to teach you in turn what it feels like. If you have not been wishing evil on another, contrary raven may be bringing you a warning that you are not equipped to move into another level of consciousness until you have mastered the one you're currently working with. On another level yet, Raven may be telling you that you have forgotten the magic of life and have settled into a mundane rut. If this rut suits you and you do not want to experience the extraordinary magic of your life, ask Raven to fly through your dreams and give you a taste of its medicine. Contrary Raven may also portend a time of smoky, confused messages that you cannot see or hear because your intellect is insisting magic is not real. Guys, there are magical things happening right now, but the destruction is making room for construction. And so we've got to remove the blocks off the road, and then new things just start manifesting. So we've got to all be part of pushing things forward and clearing the road, okay? So that's very important. To write the contrary Raven, you need to clear your energy, and I'm going to tell you how to do that before we hang up here. You may need to block some negative energy sent by another person or cancel the harm you've wished. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. This is the message when the magic moves into shadow. Seek healing, a clearing of intention, and reach for the stars and honor Mother Earth and all other living things. Fill yourself with the magic of being alive. Ground that energy so that manifestation of the magic can occur. Do this in love and simplicity, and Raven will tell you that it's magical truth. Never go beyond that which you have not prepared for and trained for. Life is good, so use the magic to aid the entire family of Earth. Right? Guys, this is the long game, okay? There's a lot of people that are responsible for fixing this, okay? All we can do is don't focus on what's, we know what's broken, okay? And we can't feed it, okay? Don't feed it. Because again, that's purposely created distractions to keep you from really seeing that things are coming together. People are coming together. And there's power in numbers, okay? And when you hang out with people that are doing things forward moving, you get inspired, you get excited, and you get confident, okay? So don't sit in your head with the shitty committee watching all this doom scrolling bullshit on the social media. Okay, I purposely go in there and come out. Okay, I do not doom scroll, okay, and I have trusted resources that I watch, and that's it, okay, and because it's just regurgitating the same stuff, and that plants some very scary things in your head, okay, because they're only, it's fear-based, and it's for clicks. They poke you on purpose to get you to keep watching, So anyway, so let's get together. Come on out, have an event. Get your friends together, have an event. You can have a channeling party. But we need each other, guys, and we need to stay focused, and we need to know that when we do the right thing, the magic just happens. And we're all blocked right now. We're all blocked right now. And so when we remove the blocks, magic happens. So don't worry about, you do your part and let the universe do the rest, okay? There's a lot of people that are getting their ass handed to them, and it's very important that happens. And there's people who could have stopped this that didn't, and they're getting their ass handed to them, okay? And so don't worry about them. Let's worry about us, because, if we just are building community and we're starting at the ground floor and we're paying attention to who and what we've given power and energy to, starve it out. Stop buying those things. Stop supporting people that are doing harm. Okay? I know you don't think Amazon, but yes, it is. Okay? Millions and millions of dollars have been invested in this awful thing that we're facing, okay? So do your homework. If you want to look something up, look up, I was an investigator, banking. So go to the library, look it up. Get on Google, but you got to be very selective about your resources and the information that you get. So anyway, so I'm hopeful, okay? Guys, I know this is a long game, okay? But it's going to take all of our efforts to come together and make sure that it changes, okay? And I'm in, so count me in. And watch on my page for things that you can get involved in that are helping our communities. And so the best thing you can do is show up. Every neighborhood I've lived in, okay? I've lived in the inner city, okay? I've lived in communities that had a lot of things going on, okay? And I have to tell you, the visibility, crime reduces when you show up, okay? Because it doesn't want to be exposed. So it goes to places where it doesn't think people are paying attention, okay? So this is why visibility is so important. We have to be visible. So I would sit on my porch every day, when I was done with my day. It was like 3 or 4 o'clock. And the kids would be walking home from school past my house, and I would engage them in conversation. But I have to tell you, one time there's a dope dealer on my street, and they're outside doing a deal, and it was middle of the day. They didn't think anybody was there. I worked from home, right, at the time. And so I go on my porch with my cuppa and my smoke, and I'm staring this guy down, right? And they noticed that I was out there. And the guy's like, and he goes, I'm just, I go, I don't give a what you're doing, okay? But don't do it here. Do not do it here. So you need to pack it up and move on, okay? And so they got in their cars and left. Okay, that's the power of visibility. Okay, now, I'm not gonna, I feel things out, guys, as I told you in other videos. I don't just jump into things, okay? I assess it very quickly, way quicker than most people. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid, okay? I know when not to be afraid and when to be afraid, okay? I know that. That's that inner knowing, right? Mine's so honed and practiced, okay? So, yeah, so this is what you have to realize. I mean, I know Rudy will agree with me. The more visible people are in a neighborhood, the more engaged they are, the more they're noticing what's going on, crime goes down. Crime goes down because it can't hide there. It can't hide. And I know places and neighborhoods where people are scared to come out of their house. They don't know who their neighbors are, and so it's very important that we create community. In your own neighborhoods, come to, other communities. Let's be a visible force of change and love and peace and solidarity. Okay? That's what a village means. We need each other, and we are our brother's keeper. Okay? So there's always something all of us can do. So Michelle says, after the last live, I saw the last video you saw, which was, I think, had the owl. I took the kids somewhere, and they said they will have an owl there next month. What a great confirmation. Again, guys, every animal has a meaning, a strength and weakness. Owl is silent. It's definitely a heads up when it comes to lies and things like that. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining me. All right, kids, do you have any other questions or comments before I hang up tonight? But trusting your intuition. Okay, it's your GPS. It's your tether to the other side. They didn't leave us down here with nothing, okay? But a lot of people haven't been taught how to trust their own knowing. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust that there's something bigger than them at work. And that is a vital part of this human world and why we're here, the mission we're on. Your mission is different from my mission. But again, when we have all these different perspectives and we bring all those talents together, it's amazing. But don't forget, you have a GPS, and it belongs to your ancestors, your loved ones. Now that they're on the other side, they're really helpful, okay? More helpful than they were when they were living sometimes, okay? You never know who's helping you. But that's what we're doing, guys. We have to trust and have faith. Build your faith. Faith without works is dead. So if you believe that charity and love and hope, then you need to be out there being a hope dispenser. You could do that at work with somebody who's feeling some kind of way or down today. We're all ministering. No matter where you are, you are a piece of God. You are a divine light, and you can shine that light and give someone hope, okay? So there's a lot of ways to serve. There's a lot of ways to show up. And you're showing up every day at work. You're showing up with clients on the phone or in person, or, you're working for a service-oriented company. We're all doing God's work out there, okay? And so you're doing what you need to do where you're planted, and I'm doing what I need to do where I'm planted. But there are ways for us to come together and to do some really cool things as, collective. So anyway, I do team building too, guys. So we talk about these things, about how to work as an interdependent unit, and we need each other, you know, unless you got one of those bossy people in the office that thinks they're running the show. That's a whole nother convo for another day. So anyway, we handle that in team building, by the way, just so you know. Sometimes I can say things that the boss can't, or, you know, or I say things that you wish you could, and I can say it straight out in a different way, and it resonates. So, yeah, that's a fun thing. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. If you want to donate to the cause, just go on to my website. I have a Venmo and Zelle. You're welcome to drop a couple bucks. It's always great. And have a class. Have some coaching, you know. Let's get connected, and let's connect you to your divinity so you know who's ringing you up on the hotline, okay? Well, thanks so much for your time. And, guys, keep the peace. You know, not only pray for our world, but let's be agents of change, okay? It's going to take all of us, you know, wherever you're planted, to hold that light up for others and bring us together, okay? Because it takes a village. And thanks for being part of mine. You guys rock. Have a good night.